Hi, Sakshi here in Dubai. Today in the Kitchen Postcards podcast, we explore seasonal eating. We trace some special foods and recipes that we ate only in particular seasons. Now, this is going to be an unabashed nostalgia trip. We will talk about our memories of certain desi foods and how dearly we miss them in our respective expat households now. Keeping in mind that the availability of seasonal fruits and vegetables are an important aspect of what our societies traditionally eat at that time. We cannot ignore that there are also some special Indian preparations in each season, in each region that we really look forward to every year. So let's go season wise, since at least in North India, you can clearly demarcate four very distinct seasons. There is summer, monsoon, autumn, winter, but that'll be too much for one episode. We'll split it into two, and in part one today, we are going to talk of summer and monsoon. So, Kanika, uh,
Hi.
hi. So, what do the seasons mean to you in terms of food?
The seasons mean to me, obviously, it's seasonal food, but that's such a dumb answer. But I also want to just say that, like, the whole calendar, I've always thought of it as, blocked out in maybe in different colors in my mind. But, you know, like school was summer is, chutti, summer vacation, and then going back to school in July, and then waiting for the winter vacation, and then again, like, whatever, spring. So, I think of food also in a similar way. Like I think of it in these blocks of different seasons.
Mhm.
And I think each of them has a few things that I love, a few that I don't or get tired of. So my idea is like a very colorful calendar. How about you? What do you think about seasons?
Yeah, I think I also think of it in terms of the festivals and the kind of food. And of course, growing up, our lives were dominated by our time at school. As soon as you said summer vacations, I thought of lassi and ruafza.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I know it was a perennial question. Ruh Afza ki bottle hai, nahi hai, check karo. Like when you're going out for groceries, Ruh Afza hona chahiye.
And my brother, if
Like,
he was to hear me speak, he was like, "How can you not talk of nimbu pani?" He loves nimbu pani, and he would make nimbu
ah,
pani for all of us during summer.
oh
But
wow, nice.
yeah, summer also means mangoes, and we both love mangoes, right?
Yes, absolutely. I don't think you can talk about summer and not talk about mangoes like the king of fruits. But I guess summer is such a long season.
Yeah,
So does it get too repetitive? Like, did you tire of things that you were eating in your home?
definitely. So I
Mm-hmm.
think March onwards, when after Holi, you start getting. I think bhindi comes like a little end of March. I'm not sure. It's been a while, but bhindi is something I really like. So I do like vegetables, but summer
Mm.
vegetables, growing up, not so much. There is so in our house we would eat ghia, tinde,
Yes.
tori, bhindi, of
I
course.
Bindi, of course, yeah.
Mm,
Actually, when you talk about it, I also can't remember much else other than Ghia Bindi, Tori, Bengan maybe,
Bangan,
thode
oh
bahut.
yes.
Yeah, Bengan. And of course, aloo is the perennial savior. और कुछ
Yeah,
नहीं है तो आलू की सब्जी बना लो.
yeah.
But yeah, like I don't remember a whole lot else in terms
There,
of vegetables.
so Bangan is in our house. We all love Bangan ka bharta, and it's like the patron saint of Bangan ka bharta in our house is my brother, who would be like he loves Bangan ka bharta, and he will come and say that इसमें बहुत अच्छे से प्याज और टमाटर डला है, and this one is really good, and he would like give crits like after give like an analysis that this one was very nice and this one had a little less. He's not that critical. I must point out he's not that critical. But yeah, bangan ka bharta is like a very regular thing in summer for us. And tinde I didn't like so much, but I like
Mm-hmm.
them only one way, which is
Oh,
sukhe with besan. So that
I was going to ask you.
that's a very
तुमने
controversial vegetable, no?
Yeah, I know. Tari wale tinde khaye kabhi. I was going to ask you that
Yeah, yeah.
because that was such a revelation. I had them. Me, my brother, and mom were visiting a relative in the village, and she had made them, and that was the first time we had it. It was obviously summer vacations, and that's why we were traveling. My brother fell in love with them. So, when you're talking about
Wow.
how your brother analyzes food and markets it to all of you, कि भाई खाओ इतना बढ़िया बना है. तो वो थोड़ा फसी तो नहीं कहूंगी बट स्लो ईटर था because our rules were कि you have to eat what's on your plate. You could finish it in 15 minutes or you could sit for 4 hours. So he was the 4 hour kind of guy.
Okay.
And it was so surprising. Like he loved tari wale tinde. But for me, I like you were saying bharma tinde. I think you're talking about
Uh,
like
no, they're not really bharwa. They are like, they have some sukha besan in it. It's like a dry preparation. And
okay,
so they have a nice toasty and spicy flavor because there are more masalas in it besides the toasted uh,
roasted
roasted,
besan.
yes, roasted besan. But the tari wale tinte, no, I found them to be the kind of tari that's made in my house.
Hmm.
I love my mother's food, but
Hmm.
certain foods growing up, especially tari wali sabzi like aloo ki sabzi or tinde ki sabzi. If it was too watery, I also found it a little too spicy growing up. So
Okay.
Tinde I didn't like so much, but then my mom, dad, and my brother Nitin would just be like, "हाँ ये तो बड़ा tasty बना है," and I'm like, "मुझे नहीं खाने टिंडे." So, but as I grew up, I was like okay with it, and I don't hate them. In fact,
Yeah.
I don't
Hmm.
hate any sabzi. I even like karela. Do you eat karela?
I do actually. I like Karela. I don't, love it, but I do. And I think the novelty kind of grows on you as you age. So, like you're saying that you've come to love Teen Day as you've grown up.
Not love.
I, not love, okay.
Too
Love is a
strong a
strong
word.
word. But like you, I have the same attitude towards vegetables. Like all of them are fine, and I do like karele. So my grandmother used to make them very delicious bharma karele, and she is like a no waste kind of cook. So जो उसकी पील थी, छील के करेले की पील को पहले उसको पकाओ in a
Yes.
masala. Okay, that's what you guys did.
Same.
Oh, wow. So, and then usko bharo, maybe sometimes with a little bit of achar ka masala, like pada hua agar.
Exactly. Yes.
Oh, wow. So now we found some common ground as Punjabis.
Yeah. There is so much more to come. There is a lot of
Yeah.
common things, of course. वो वाले काफी tasty होते हैं. So I've also had them. So I don't know if in that process that the way your family makes it, do they like salt it and then keep it for like a few hours and then drain
Yeah,
them
yeah.
out and all that? That's common,
Oh,
right?
yes.
That is of course one version I've had it growing up and I like it, and उसपे I think धागे से बांधते भी हैं उसको and
हाँ बांध के हाँ फिर उसको पैन में मतलब शैलो
sear.
फ्राई तो नहीं कहोगे बट हाँ सियर करो और धीरे धीरे उसको फिर पकने दो
Yeah,
तो इट्स नॉट क्रिस्पी और एनीथिंग इट्स सॉफ्ट but it's really nicely cooked and very well seasoned so you don't sense the bitterness at all
right. And there is another.
plus
Okay, tell me.
oh it's the perfect travel food
You're
so
right.
you make
Yeah,
yeah it's the perfect travel food so that's what she gave me एक बार भोपाल से I had to come to Delhi
yeah.
and paronte and karele.
I have definitely traveled with karele ki sabzi and paranthi. I
Yeah.
know that it lasts longer. So what my parents do, and my family now has started doing that, is that they make karelas
Mhm.
and they keep it. And in summer, their go-to is like अगर कोई सब्जी अच्छी नहीं आ रही है या फिर कुछ सब्जी खत्म हो रही है, okay, one day we'll just take out karelas and there will be karela sabzi and dal and then
Oh,
later
okay.
rice. So that's a complete meal, and that karela is so nice. So lately they've started making karela another way. My mama ji gave my mom a recipe and he would say in Punjabi, "Tu khai munni, enne tasty hai ne." So so I don't know. That recipe is now a part of our household. It's basically just salted brined karele, and it's just cooked in steam with very little
Oh,
oil, and they are really
sure.
tasty because they are brined and they're squeezed. You squeeze out the juices and everything. They are delicious.
Is the oil sarson ka tel?
Yes.
Yeah. I think that makes everything better. You know, that's a kinship that we probably share with the Bengalis
Right.
because, right, like we're so far apart geographically, but
Yeah.
this one thing, this love for sarson, but I can almost smell and imagine the Karela cooking in sarson ka tel right now.
Our holy Punjabi aam ka achar isn't that sarson
Oh,
ka tel, right?
yes,
That
yes,
is
exactly.
brilliant. And the sarson ka
Yeah,
saag. But that is winter.
yes.
Coming back to summer.
Ek to Munni is also my nanny's nickname.
Okay.
So that I wanted to say that. The other thing is achar. Talking of achars, like I was just thinking, ki, that's the reason that you do have this strong culture of pickling stuff because there are
Preserving, yeah.
times in the year, yeah, and preserving. There are times in the year when you don't find good vegetables and
Right.
you have to resort to other ingredients, right?
Right.
So achar is a great stand-in and like parathe ke saath, bread ke saath, kisi bhi tarah ki bread, Indian bread. So anyway, talking about other ingredients, like what are the other things that you remember eating? So we've done all these gourd family kind of
No.
vegetables,
No,
but
we
uske
haven't.
alawa,
I
oh no,
have
we
to
haven't. What
I
is
have to
left?
quickly tell you that I really like ghia. Ghia, which people call
Oh,
lauki. In our house, we called it
yeah,
ghia.
Loki. हाँ,
And some people call it dudhi also. I think in the
हाँ,
UP
दूधी भी कहते
region.
हैं.
Yeah.
हाँ,
So that is my mom makes it very well, I think, and I think she keeps on telling me the key to making uh, good tori and good
yeah.
ghia is
Hmm.
that you pressure cook it with pyaz, tomato, and jeera, and maybe hing if you like it. But you do
हाँ,
not add water because these vegetables have so much water, and
yeah,
so it won't be a very tari wali sabzi, but maybe it will
yeah,
be depending on the kind of produce you get. But
yeah, yeah.
it's such a nice concentrated flavor. It's really nice. So I quite like it. I don't
Yeah.
like tori as much, but
Acha.
it's not bad.
It's
It's
it's the
I like it.
reverse. Yeah, it's not the reverse for me, but I like tori. Actually,
Hmm.
and I haven't eaten it many years. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of craving it. Like when I went back last year, so it was just the end of summer and monsoon was, it was that time. I don't recall having tori, but I miss the softness and there's a certain quality to tori that is not part of ghee. Like ghee is different.
You're right.
So I really do
Certain
miss tori.
certain mouth
Mhm.
feel of
Yes, yes. Mouthfeel
a
of tori is
cooked
different.
tori. Yeah, cooked tori.
Ah,
Yes.
yeah, and ghee. My mom, and I think she probably learned it from her mom or my dadi, like her mother-in-law. I'm not sure who she learned it from, but she would just put like a little bit of milk in the
Yes.
loki and no tomato.
Yes, you're
So
right.
without
I've also
tomato.
had
So,
that. So instead of
hmm.
milk, my mom would put like a spoon of yogurt. So that would be the khatas.
Oh,
And there
acha,
is
acha.
and there would be no tomato. So that is also another
हाँ,
version. And
हाँ,
speaking of preserving things, so because we are both Punjabis and have some roots in Amritsar, my
हाँ.
family also makes ghia with a little bit of vadi in it.
Acha, okay. Okay. I don't know if I've had that, but I do. I've certainly had vadis, and I think
Ha,
vadis are another great ingredient, you can use any
summer.
time of the year,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
especially in the summer. So yes, so aloo vadi is a very common sabzi, and I guess you can
Yes.
put whatever you want in it. Maybe you could put matar or matar
Yeah.
to hote nahi khair.
Butter, but my family started doing this. So right now we're recording this
Hmm.
in December,
Hmm.
and my family has found abundant, good quality मटर और वो छील
Hmm.
के उसको फ्रीजर में रखेंगे and वो पूरे साल
Ah,
यूज करेंगे and they
nice.
exchange it, they give it to each other and all that.
Oh,
Everyone's
that's great.
freezers are stocked with mutton, so they use it, they bring it out so much
I have a
during the
question
year.
about the Karela. I want to go back to it. So you
Yeah.
said that they make it and they keep it. Do they actually make it and then just freeze, but like uh, freeze it also?
No, so this would be like a week long, like they would finish it in 2 weeks.
अच्छा
And
अच्छा.
because I'm assuming, like I'm thinking of it now, कि ये 2 हफ्ते कैसे चल जाते हैं, because I think they're sort of preserved with salt
Hmm. Hmm.
and just very light cooking. But I think the salt somehow helps to preserve it, and they don't really go bad. What do you
Hmm.
think?
Hmm. Honey, I agree. And also, like, there's enough oil and it's been salted to remove excess water and all. So yeah, I would imagine that they're kind of preserved in a way.
Yeah, they do like keep it in the fridge. They don't really keep it
Huh,
outside at all.
keep it outside.
In the summer, nothing can survive. I think in the Delhi summer, nothing can survive
Yeah,
outside.
with the humidity and everything. Yeah, I don't think
Yeah,
so. I don't
yeah.
think so.
Another
Okay.
sabzi I must mention is like two kinds of sabzi, and I get confused between them. And one of them is also something we share. I don't know, we share, or I think the north or the entire northern belt has it. It's parval and kundru. I used to
हाँ
get
तो एक्चुअली
confused between the two.
अच्छा अच्छा अच्छा
One of
तो
them have
हमारे
like
घर
a,
में हाँ
yeah,
परवल तो नहीं बनता था परवल में बहुत बड़े बीज होते हैं
right.
हाँ तो our house was not too fond of that and it was never really a thing that was cooked in our house.
Acha,
Kundru, yes, kundru, and actually we learnt of kundru in a very roundabout way. My dad was posted in the east
acha.
in Odisha.
Okay.
वहां पे भी कुंदरू बहुत उगते हैं
Hmm.
एंड फिर साउथ में भी बहुत उगते हैं तो सबसे पहली इंट्रोडक्शन जो हमारी थी टू कुंदरू इज एक्चुअली फ्रॉम दैट रिलेशनशिप नॉट सो मच बिकॉज यू हैव टू अगेन आई थिंक आई नीड टू गोइंग बैक टू लोकेटिंग आवरसेल्व्स because we were living in Rajasthan.
Hmm.
Vegetables are even less abundant than what you are used to in Delhi.
You're right.
You're at the hub, you're pretty much you have these beautiful green states all around you. And they're feeding the mandis of Delhi.
Right.
Whereas Rajasthan, not so much. So there was a different sense of, what was available, what wasn't. Parval hoga, but Kundru hame east se we got introduced to it from Odisha.
I know like the Bengalis really love parval and they call it potol.
Hmm.
So
Ha ha.
in Dubai, I find it in markets titled as potol because there are enough Bangladeshis
Hmm.
here as well, and
Hmm.
I don't get it that often. I get kundru more often, but
Hmm.
I like both. I really like parval for the crispy outside, not crispy, but like the when you cook it with the peel, it's like
Hmm.
it has a nice bite to it. So I
Hmm.
really enjoy that, and I cook it with onions,
Yeah.
and it's a
Okay.
very simple stir fry. So that's something I really like. And in my household, like it's only me who eats all this, and my husband doesn't. He doesn't really enjoy vegetables as much, not
I
these
see.
ones at least.
Yeah. No, I like kundru and I like making it, like slit lengthwise and
Yes,
then cooking it or, chopping it as circular discs and then cooking it either way. I think once our family started cooking kundru, we all were like, huh, that's a good thing to do.
I think they're available in most parts of India. So I might be
Hmm.
wrong, but I think like you're
Hmm.
saying, South में भी मिलता है, East में definitely मिलता है, North
Hmm.
में भी मिलता ही है, I think. But yeah, Rajasthan.
Hmm.
But coming to Rajasthan, there is something that's very typically Rajasthani that
Hmm.
my old Delhi family has given to us. So there is
Hmm.
gatte ki sabzi, but it's not cooked because there are not so many vegetables and you get sick of eating the same kind of vegetables. It's a long season.
Hmm.
So we do
Yeah.
we do make those gatte ki sabzi, but I think they have a slightly different method of making that the gatta. They don't boil it, and they
अच्छा
actually वो जमाते हैं उसको बर्फी की तरह. Like you have to like
अच्छा
continuously
अच्छा
cook
अच्छा
it on a low flame and then quickly
अच्छा
oil a plate and then spread it out, cut it. It's like a master class that my other mama I think has taken for
Ah,
some of us. Some of us know how to make it.
I
I
see. Oh,
don't.
that's a different technique. So, हाँ, गट्टे बनते थे. And because we lived in Rajasthan for so many years, it became a pretty staple thing. My mom used to make them, or if we had a cook coming in, then she would make it. So, uh, and that was like a favorite. We were always up for eating गट्टे की सब्जी.
Hmm.
उसमें दही भी डलता है, तो खट्टी भी
Yes.
होती है.
Yeah.
और दही नहीं है तो खूब सारा टमाटर भी डाल सकते हो. मतलब either way, जैसे भी खट्टी तरी बनानी है.
Right.
I actually really love gatte ki sabzi.
Even
And
I
there are
really
two
like.
types. There are two types of gattas that you can make. You can make aate ke or you can make besan ke.
Wow, really? I didn't know about
Yeah,
atte
yeah.
ke gatte.
जो आटे के है ना उनका नाम शायद कुछ और है वो पता करके आई कैन वी कैन पुट इट इन द नोट्स बट जनरली गट्टा और बेसन
हाँ.
And besan वैसे भी once it's cooked, it just has, besan is this magical flour, right? Like it has
True.
so many uses, and the flavor is great.
It makes
Um,
tinda better for me. But enough talk of enough talk of vegetables. We have to talk of the fruits.
yeah, we have to. So, ek to, of course, mangoes, they are the absolute king of it, the fruits, but like the melons are great,
Yeah, yeah.
like the watermelons and so I think breakfast या कभी भी lunch or whenever uh, watermelon and the musk melons जो
Yeah,
हाँ
kharbuja.
kharbuza. Sorry, I was tripping on the words. So tarboos and kharbuza, and I often used to interchange them as a child. I sometimes still do, but tarboos and kharbuza. Kharbuza is something that I really love. It's just so
Acha.
sweet. Like तरबूज फिर भी ठीक ठीक है कि काफी बार it's just पानी and you
Right.
have to you have to throw out all those seeds. But
Yeah.
I love kharbuza and the process of like cleaning the seeds. Like that's what I saw my grandmother do. Like she would actually remove the
Scoop.
pulp and just
You just
scoop it
scoop it
out.
out. Yeah, that's quite a
Yeah,
satisfying thing to do, I think.
yeah, and then
So,
clean them and dry them and use them at a later time.
oh
हाँ
yeah. So, yeah, you
मगज बन
remind
जाते हैं ना
me.
उसमें से मगज निकलते हैं ना
Exactly.
तो वो
So my mom and I, she
हम्म
does that. She would remove all the seeds and wash them and just clean them and all that, and then we would just sit and eat them directly. Like we will obviously there is a
अच्छा
very specific, like you need a skill, and you need
हाँ
to, like, if the beej are really good, uh,
हम्म
it's very easy to peel them. So you
हम्म
like do a slight crack with your front teeth, and I don't know how me and my mom would sit, and they're so addictive. They are delicious.
and I have this memory of a mulberry tree, a shehtoot tree in
Oh,
college. Not so much as growing up because I don't think I ever saw a shehtoot tree in Rajasthan in like Jodhpur.
acha.
I don't think I ever. Jodhpur had a lot of bear. We had a whole
Yeah.
lot of bear and imli bhi and mango trees would also survive and do decently there.
Mm-hmm.
But like so the desert is a great place for growing melons because they don't need a lot of water, right? They need a lot of heat.
Yeah.
So the quality of melons in Rajasthan was absolutely beautiful. Like, it was great. Uh, but the shetut, the first beautiful, gorgeous shetut tree that I saw was in college in LSR, and I know where it is. I hope it's still there. If I go back, I hope I can find it.
I'm
But
sure it will be.
yeah. And then you remember the tree we spotted in Jamia?
Yes, yes. So in Jamia, there was this bel pathar tree, and do you remember there were even carts selling bel pathar ka juice and
हाँ
क्या कहते हैं
हम्म
उसे, बेल पत्थर का शरबत,
बेल
बेल का
बेल
शरबत,
हाँ बेल का
बेल
शरबत या
बेल का शरबत. So
हाँ
in the Delhi summer, there it would happen, I think, once or twice with me, that I
हाँ
would, like, I don't know, it was heat stroke or something. I would really like lose my appetite, and the only thing
हम्म
that helped me was bel ka sharbat, and my dad would make it a
oh okay
certain way. Not a certain
अच्छा
way. He would just loves to use the blender. I think I've written about it in the blog enough. So he just loves to use kitchen equipments, I think. And I'm saying this now for the
yeah
first time. Uh, but but yeah,
he needs
even
to listen to this then.
yeah. So so he would like take out all the flesh and put it with water, mash it, and use a blender, and then add sugar to it, and that is really lovely in that weather. And of course,
Hmm.
tasir of things is something that's really relevant to the topic we are talking about. That
Right, that
certain
season
foods,
also. Hmm.
yeah. So cooling things like tarboos, watermelon, tarboos, muskmelon. Sorry, what am I saying? Tarboos,
Tarboos is
kharbuza.
watermelon and kharbuza. Yes, see, you got
And
confused too.
yes, so tarboos and kharbuja. And my dad, I don't know, mentioned some variety. ये बागपत का है, ये यहाँ का है. You mentioned ramdhari recently. So I
हाँ
don't know which one is which, but yeah, some of them are really sweet. So these are cooling. Then desi kheera also makes an appearance. It's a vegetable, I think, right? Kheera is a vegetable.
So actually, I remember that again from Rajasthan. वहाँ पे ये देसी खीरा काफी बड़ा होता है ना. It's almost like a melon. And
Right.
so we had these friends, and both uncle and auntie were very fond of cooking, and they would sometimes have us over for dal bati. They would make their own batis and awesome food. And they were Rajput, so also you could always rely कि अगर mutton या कुछ बना है तो it will be
Amazing.
outstandingly delicious. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they used to cut this desi kheera and feed us with a little bit of just salt and maybe a little bit of mirchi on it.
Right. So this, the way you mention it, it reminds me of these carts in Delhi, like Chandni Chowk and all these places. You
Hmm.
will get cut fruits and salad and all that in old areas in our cities. And desi
Hmm.
kheera is also served like that, and it's delicious. It's
Ah,
really nice. But what I
yeah.
don't like about kheeras is that, of course with the Persian and the English cucumber, you don't have to like giso it, and it's, I don't know if it actually works, but you know what
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
talking
kind of
about.
right. Yes, yes. I'm kind of over that. I don't believe in it anymore, and I
I
don't
don't
do
do
it.
that.
Yeah, I don't do that. So, actually, a kheera और इसकी बात करके, I'm remembering kakdi. Do you remember the long forgotten, the beautiful kakdi?
Oh, I love it. I really like it. But then when kakdi is kadwa, it is really,
It's
really
really
kadwa.
kadwa. But
Yeah.
have you noticed that it's not that common now?
You
Like,
know
I
what?
haven't eaten kakdi in ages.
I have in
Oh, you
Dubai's
did?
farmers market.
Wow.
And during this weather, it's December right now, and till January or even February, I will find it there. And it's
Acha.
amazing that it grows here during this time.
That's interesting. I haven't eaten kakadi, and and I haven't even seen, like, I haven't heard of anyone saying कि हाँ kakadi है salad में या कुछ भी. If you're talking to people back home and asking क्या खाया क्या, I mean kakadi is almost like wiped out.
No,
It's just all
actually,
cute. नहीं? Is it
no.
there?
I think in it is definitely there during, but I think it's the season again. It is. I
Hmm.
think it comes in that very particular season, and it's
Hmm.
abundant during that time, and then it slowly,
Hmm.
I think, goes away.
Yeah, it's a summer thing. Huh. That I remember.
But
Sorry, huh?
you mentioned Shaitut and Mulberry, and then we were talking of Bale, which reminded me. So in my neighborhood, even now there are some jamun trees,
Oh,
and I haven't seen falsa trees, but jamun trees I've seen. But
yeah.
false or jamun, these are
Huh.
summer, very specific summer fruits that you get in the north. I think, like at least in Delhi, you definitely do,
Yeah.
and my brother loves them. And I
Hmm.
think in my house, we have had palse ka sharbat that my dadi used to make sometimes. He would make
Oh,
badam ka
wow.
sharbat. I have the recipe on the blog for badam ka sharbat. Again,
Yeah.
thandi tasir.
Right.
And I don't know about the tasir of jamun and
हाँ, I guess ठंडे होंगे. I mean खट्टे बहुत होते हैं. That's what I know. And actually जाम और मीठे भी होते हैं. I don't know.
मीठे भी होते हैं. So
मीठे
we,
भी होते हैं.
growing up in Noida, we used to have this old guy, really old guy, and he would come on a cycle and he would have a song. He was the same guy when it was season for false, which I think comes earlier, and when the monsoon comes, that is when jamun comes. So during the summer, his song was क्या जामुन नहीं, क्या जामुन नहीं है, ये क्या है, फालसे, हाँ.
Falsa.
ठंडे मीठे फालसे, काले काले फालसे. So he would,
Oh.
old
Oh,
man
that's
in a
so good.
dhoti. This is
Wow.
an old man in a dhoti who would come on a
Yeah.
bicycle with a nice big cane basket wrapped, like with a cloth wrapped, and he would give it in these newspaper packets, and he would prepare it. He would put kala namak and toss it and then give it to you. So this is the same
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
Jamun, the same guy. His song would change when at the arrival of monsoon, and he would be selling Jamun, and he would sing Jamun kale kale ra thande meethe kale ra. So Jamun meethe hote hain,
Oh, wow.
and
That's so, yeah. Cause yeah, and they also grow in the south. Like they grew in Hyderabad. So in the house in Hyderabad, like there was always, you could see the jamun falling and splattering all over because they make a big mess.
yeah, they stain the
Mm.
floor
They
and whatever.
stain they stain the place. So, but I'm not super fond of them. I'm not super fond of khatta
So
fruits that
it's
much.
I think it's the aftertaste. So,
Hmm.
this other fruit called
Yeah.
persimmons, and I
Yeah.
think
Yeah. Yeah.
ramphal. I know it from
Hmm.
ramphal. I don't like
Huh.
the aftertaste, and it's very astringent sort of an aftertaste. And I think it's the
Yeah.
same
Yeah.
with jamun.
Right. Right. That's true. And so I think the one vegetable that we've kind of forgotten about is arbi, which is
Oh,
also available. And I've kind of rediscovered it here.
acha.
Like it's quite easily available, at least in the Southwest. So in Tucson, like in Arizona, I
Hmm.
had not seen it so, like nice and fresh arbi while I was on the other coast, which is the east coast of the US. But here I found it, and it's really nice and fresh and easy to work with.
That's nice. I
I,
really like arbi too, but I don't get it as much because
hmm,
Vijay doesn't eat it. So I get it for myself, but I don't
hmm.
get it that often. But I think arbi uh, it is available during summer, but it is one of the things that you can rely on during summer. But I think it's available throughout the year.
Acha, that's
I
maybe,
think.
yeah, yeah. Okay, that's something to check. But yeah, you're right. Although we don't eat it that frequently through the rest of the year, I don't remember eating it a lot,
Hmm.
throughout
Hmm.
the year. Okay, so to think of it, we've listed quite a few vegetables. Even though we were underestimating the summer abundance,
Right.
we've actually found quite a few things.
Yeah.
And
And
fruits,
we haven't even gone into mangoes,
we,
imagine, and we've spoken
exactly,
so much.
we haven't even touched upon it. And
Yeah.
for the real true mango connoisseurs, they know exactly which variety comes at which point in the summer and fades away by the monsoons.
Right, right. I did like I tried to gather all this information, and I am not the authority on mangoes, but I asked my brother who loves to now shop and sniff mangoes. I don't know how he dealt
Yeah.
with this during the pandemic time when you can't really smell
Oh, I was
things with your
deprived
mask
of
on.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, but mangoes, he tries to keep track, and I can just here list some of the varieties of mangoes that I remember. I don't know if this is the correct order, but I can think of safeda,
Hmm.
sinduri, then what? Sinduri, the
The
sherry is
sherry.
towards the sherry. Some people really love the sherry.
Huh.
Then chosa, langda,
Yeah.
and
I think Langda is like the peak for our household. That's
right.
considered like the peak of the mango season. Hmm.
Yeah, I think
Totapari. Huh.
Totapari. Coming here in Dubai, I have eaten more Alfonso. In Delhi, we didn't eat Alfonso. They send
Huh.
it out, I think. They send export all
We
of the
don't
time.
really. We're kind of snobs, right? If you live in the north, you don't think of Alfonso as the best one. Like,
You
I
know,
sorry to break it to Mumbai people, but like
sorry
I
guys.
am sorry, guys. I'm not really fond of that.
I don't mind it. So I'm
Hmm.
I'm neither here nor there, but I know
Uh-huh.
what you're talking about. And you know
Hmm.
what? I have eaten Pakistani mangoes here, and they're also really good. And the variety I really like is Sindri. So Pakistani
Acha.
mango season
Hmm.
starts pretty late. So when it's December, when it's monsoon season in India and in North India, and you aren't getting enough mangoes from there, you start getting mangoes from Pakistan. And they have this
Hmm.
variety called Sindri, which is,
Hmm.
uh, I tried to, I think, explain it. It has it's like slightly like chosa and the
Uh-huh.
sherry. And I love both those. And it's
Okay.
really good. It's
That's
really
like the
sweet.
perfect combination for you.
Yeah, so it's really nice. I'm not saying it's the best, but I really like chosa and I really like langda. But that one is also very good. That's a new discovery for me living here.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I think we've eaten a few, and there's also a variety called kesari, but I'm
Yes,
not. Yeah, and that's quite sweet. That's just like very sweet, I think.
Just a quick
kesri.
Not a whole
clarification
lot
here.
else.
The kesari I mentioned refers to the Gir Kesar mango variety from Gujarat, which has a GI tag. It is known for its bright orange pulp, and that is why the name Kesar. It is exceedingly sweet and can often be found tinned in markets around America. Now back to the
And
conversation.
there's one more I can think of. This is one of the new things that I've heard from my brother. So he goes to Mother Dairy, and Mother
Hmm.
Dairy has a good variety of mangoes. There is another one I can think of. The name starts with N. I think not
Did
Nargi.
you
I
mean
think
Anwar Ratol?
no, not
No,
Anwar
that's
Ratol.
Pakistani. That's
Anwar
a
Ratol is
Pakistani variety.
Pakistani, and the fun
Yeah.
thing is that you do get it in India, but
Ah,
the cart walas, the fruit walas will not tell you where it's from. So if you're really chatty and if you're asking them, ये कहाँ से है mango? तो
ah,
बोलते ये आता है, ये पीछे से आता है कहीं से. They will not tell you that
ah,
it's Pakistani because they don't know how it will be received. I read it somewhere, and I
ah.
think there was an article somewhere that I read a few years ago. Anwar Ratol is
Hmm.
huge and it's really sweet,
Is
and
it? Acha. Okay.
it's really big.
Okay.
You remember, I don't know if you remember, but towards the end of the season, towards when the monsoons are beginning, that time you
Yeah.
get these mangoes that are huge.
They're also called Gada Am in Punjab.
Really?
I don't know if they're called that blanket by everybody in Punjab, but like in my husband's household, they just refer to it. They're quite like they're mango snobs, and they
Aren't
love
we all?
langda. Yeah,
Aren't we all?
we're all aspiring to be.
Yeah.
So they call it the gada because they think it's like useless. So they
Wow.
don't like it. But I'm kind of surprised that you're saying Anwar Atol is sweet. But maybe then they are referring it to the exact like absolute end
Okay,
of the
enough
season.
back and forth on the size of Anwar Atoll. Wikipedia tells us that it is actually a small variety which is known for its sweetness and low fiber content. First cultivated in Rathol in Uttar Pradesh, the mango was taken to Pakistan and is now exceedingly popular there and also plays an important role in Pakistan's mango diplomacy. So that's that. Let's get back to the conversation and please see the episode notes for lots more
When you
information.
get these huge mangoes.
I think they are referring to that. I said they're sweet,
Hmm.
but I'm not talking of flavor because I don't remember any particular crazy,
Hmm.
distinct flavor.
Hmm.
Maybe it's right that they don't like them, and I don't think my parents also are particularly fond of that variety.
Right. Yeah. I mean, so okay, so that's the fruits and vegetables. But I mean, do you remember something like specific that was always there on the table? Like we were talking about tasir. Like, were there things that you guys had as an accompaniment to your meal to cool yourselves down?
We had like lassi for sure.
Hmm.
We would make mango shakes and all for breakfast because they were
Hmm.
mangoes, and my dad loves to use the blender, like I
Hmm.
mentioned. And then there would be nimbu pani.
Ah,
And in terms of chutneys, I have to like, because we should also talk of monsoons.
yeah.
So in the summer you don't get as much dhania, and I
Hmm.
think but they would, I think you do get some dhania, but then monsoon it wilts so easily because of the
Hmm.
humidity and all that. It goes really bad, and it's really hard to find, I think, during monsoon.
Hmm.
But then we would always have chutney,
Hmm.
like hari chutney with something,
Hari
and
chutney. Ha,
and
mint. Right.
hari chutney with the dhania pudina is also
Ha.
reminding me of pakoras right now. And
Yes. Yeah, no, I remember monsoon pakoras. The moment, we knew that it was going to rain, and if it was like a nice heavy rainfall,
right.
like the kind that you could sit outside in the veranda and enjoy and, have a little spray of water coming on you, then we would swing into action and make pakoras.
I
And
can almost smell
yeah.
the wet earth and the pakoras and the
Oh,
chai.
yes. Oh, yeah, the chai that accompanies it. I
Is
know.
chai
That's the
any
one.
different for you? Is chai any different for you during monsoons, like back home?
I wouldn't say it's different during the monsoons, but I mean, it changes in the winter.
Mm.
I don't think in the monsoons there was much of a difference. Was there a difference in your house, like in the monsoons?
I think we would put adrak in it. Like we would start
अच्छा
putting adrak in it.
अच्छा नहीं हमारे नहीं I think we waited longer. We did that later in the year. And so dhania pudina, so I'm remembering my mom used to make this mint drink. So she would do like she would make a concentrate with mint leaves, like a
Mm-hmm.
sweet concentrate that you could then use to make just like a little sharbat, like a
Oh,
mint
wow.
sharbat.
That
But
sounds
she
really
did that,
nice.
yeah, she did that very infrequently
Mm.
because you need a whole lot of mint to make a
Yeah.
little bit, like the quantity that you get. And so she did that really infrequently, and that's why I remember it so well because it was a very rare thing.
Uh-huh.
And I remember requesting it also और asking कि वो बना दो. She like बहुत time लगता है, बहुत ज़्यादा किलो किलो mint लाओगे और कितना सा बनेगा तो it's
And
not
mint
really
is
worth
really,
it.
mint has a lot of minty
Expensive
also.
also. Yeah, and I don't think it's that cheap to buy like a large quantity of herbs, right? Like I don't remember like mint. I don't know if
I
like I
think
don't
I,
remember.
I think it depends on availability. But then this drink
Hmm.
you're mentioning, do you
Hmm.
remember in India, in Delhi, in certain cities, this thele wala with a
Hmm.
huge uh, pot, and it would be
Hmm.
covered with a red cloth, and they
Hmm.
had a lot of mint, and it was some sort of shikanji
Sure. Oh
with
yeah.
mint. I don't
Ha
know
ha
what
ha.
it is because I think I may have had it only once and I don't remember it. But
Hmm.
also this hesitating to eat anything outside
Oh
during that
yes, during the
weather,
monsoon, especially the monsoons.
especially the
Ah,
monsoon. But that doesn't stop us from eating chaat in the monsoon, like an
yeah,
aloo
yeah,
ki tikki or like
yeah.
aloo
I
ki
think there's
chaat
like
or
this. Yeah, I think there's a partiality to fried foods, right? So if it is something that is fried, then you can go eat it.
hmm,
But if it is something that's like water based,
hmm.
but I mean, चाट में दही पड़ता है.
हाँ दही पड़ता है
Uh,
बट मसाले
हाँ,
भी
but
होते हैं.
मसाले भी बहुत होते हैं,
Yeah.
which actually is a great entryway to talking about the whole chaat culture of Delhi and how it was
Ooh.
born out of a necessity to, keep people healthy because the water even back then wasn't great, like Yamuna's
In
water.
Yamuna, yes. Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, that's like a whole thing to explore.
Yeah, yeah, correct. But
But
another thing in the monsoons I remember uh, is uh, is Singhade. Do you remember
mhm.
Singhade?
Again, so you have an upper hand in these things. My family was not super, even though we ate a huge variety, there were certain seasonal things that we didn't really pay attention to. And Singhare happens to be one of those. Like, I've seen the roasted water chestnuts being sold on the roadside, and those, yes, I've seen those. Uh, but never beyond that. No, nothing beyond that. How
So
did you guys use them?
Singhade, I think, comes when both these Navratras come during the year. So there is one in the spring and there's one around autumn post monsoon,
Huh.
when the Durga Puja wale Navratri that happen, Dussehra and Durga Puja. So I think what I recently checked with my mom was that Singhade come during both time. And
Hmm.
so this reminds me that because of lack of enough sabzi varieties during summer,
Hmm. Hmm.
my nani, who was a vegetarian, she would make certain fruits as a savory preparation, and singhade was one
Oh,
of them, and they're
I see.
really
Okay.
nice, with like just
Oh.
namak mirch and like a little saute. They are really
Uh-huh.
tasty.
Oh,
Don't
that's
miss the mirch
interesting.
in that. Yeah, it's really nice.
So I haven't had singhare ki sabzi, and like you're saying, I've seen singhare on the roadside, but I do have another sabzi that my grandmother has made, and then I've also tried, is the chilka of your watermelon.
Right.
So the peel, the watermelon, when you slice the watermelon, you take out all the beautiful red flesh to eat, and
Hmm.
then you're left with the white and the green. So
Right.
you peel off the green, obviously you just peel it off,
Hmm.
but you retain the white flesh, and then you cut that up and cook it as a sabzi. So it's almost, very in the same line of say making an achari kaddu kind of sabzi, like you could make it
Acha.
like that.
Okay.
Uh,
That
so
sounds good.
that's one use of a fruit as a vegetable that I kind of
Yeah.
remember.
I've never had that. I've had seb ki sabzi, which is like
Acha, I've never had
again,
that.
again, my nani used to make all these things. So she's fed my mother and her siblings सेब की सब्जी, आम की
Hmm.
सब्जी, and
Hmm.
I haven't even mentioned कच्चा आम. And कच्चा आम
Oh
का
yeah,
whole
I know. Like chutney can't be made without kacha aam.
yeah. So chutney, even Karelas would have a kacha aam filling. That is another variety that's really yum. Of That's another
Oh.
preparation of Karela. So कच्चा आम कच्चे आम की सब्जी नहीं डलती बट सब्जी नहीं बनती बट कच्चे आम का I think my mom calls it garam masale ka achar. It's very similar
Acha.
to the chundo, and we haven't
Oh.
even touched pickling, and pickling.
Oh yeah. I think we need a whole new like whole season, I think, or just at least a whole episode devoted to pickling or an episode devoted to this whole gamut of no, vegetarian eating. Oh my
Right.
God, like the creativity involved of using stuff, as a stand-in for vegetables is great.
Right, right, you're right. Yeah. And of
Yeah.
course, I don't think I am definitely not qualified to talk enough about pickling. But yeah,
Uh,
I'm just mentioning that in our house, we would definitely dalo aam ka achar, and there
uh,
would be one or two mango chutneys. I know you have experimented quite a bit with mango chutneys, and
yeah. And those
that,
are inspired by my grandmother's
right,
way of pickling and making chutneys. Yeah.
right, yeah,
Yeah. And also like murabbe, you know.
yeah.
Those are delicious murabbas. Like I think that's the one way I would love eating amla. Otherwise, I don't think I would eat amla.
Amla, I think comes
आता तो विंटर में है शायद.
विंटर में आता है बट या आमले का
हाँ,
अचार हमारे यहाँ भी बनता है और
अचार और
अचार लाइक क्विक अचार
मुरब्बा भी बनता है.
मुरब्बा भी बनता है बट वील कम टू दैट
आमले
इन
का
लेटर
मुरब्बा.
सीजंस
Yeah,
लाइक
we'll talk about that later.
so any notable mentions from you? I have a few notable mentions and maybe that will give you
Okay,
ideas. So
sure.
kulfa is this herb
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that we would make with that has again thandi tasir and would come in summers and we would make it with aloo. Kulfa is one thing. I
Mm-hmm.
find it here
Mm-hmm.
during winter time in Dubai from the farmers market, so
Oh.
I really like it. I cherish it. That's really nice. Then there is a sort of lack of herbs otherwise. I think there is some lal amaranth that you see all year round, I think, in Delhi, but
Mm-hmm.
I've only I eaten it now with my
Hmm.
in-laws, and that too with
Mm-hmm.
kacha aam, and that's really yum. So
Oh,
red
acha.
amaranth stir
Mm-hmm.
fry with a South
Mm-hmm.
Indian tadka and little bit of kacha aam. It is delicious.
Oh, I've never had that. No.
Even I had not had
Um,
that.
yeah, I've never had that. Not really. Like I think we've pretty much covered everything that I kind of enjoy. And there's one habit of like that my grandmother used to do, which was make like you were saying lassi. She would make like a little charge just for herself, sitting at the dining table with a bit of the dahi that she had. So she would
Yes.
have like a cold glass of water एंड उसमें दही मिला के और उसमें फिर जो भी नमक काली मिर्च तो वो टेबल पे ही तभी के तभी with the meal she would just make a little glass of chach for
I
herself.
I don't know who this reminds me of, but someone else also used to do that, and I'm very familiar with people doing that. Yes, and it's
हाँ
really
हाँ
nice. And dahi is like standard, like in summers, dahi to jamna hi jamna hai.
हाँ I think maybe the one thing that we missed is like भुट्टे. I mean भुट्टे भी आने लग जाते हैं by the end of the season.
Right.
I think it's not so much through the season, like towards the end, right?
So
Towards fall.
would they come? I think when it starts raining in the
Hmm.
north, like and I speak of my life in Delhi and
Hmm.
and the north, like that is when we would see bhutta challi ke thele, and they would
हाँ
either roast it, they would boil it, or they would be cooked in like sand or something. I don't know. But I love
पॉपकॉर्न बनता है ना फिर.
popcorn भी बनता है, but what I
हाँ
really like is भुने हुए भुट्टे with nimbu and chaat masala. My mouth
yeah.
is watering.
Yeah, and then bhutte ki sabzi bhi banti hai. So
Right.
that's another thing, and in Rajasthan also they make it in a lot of different ways. Interesting stuff. Like there's lots to learn.
There
Lots
is.
to
And I will
explore.
quickly mention, I want to mention a few other things, but I don't have too
Hmm.
much to talk about. There is obviously bhain.
Hmm.
A lot of people might
हाँ.
not know what bhain is. Bhain is a Punjabi word for kamal kakdi or lotus stem. Any other word for
Yeah.
it? I don't know.
I don't know of it as. I actually only knew it as Kamal Kakdi.
Yeah.
Bhe is kind of also still new to me.
Really, it's a Punjabi word.
Yeah, I know, but then again, yeah, I didn't speak too much Punjabi or hear too much of it growing up. Yeah, what else? What else were you thinking?
I was thinking of kathal. I really love kathal.
Ha,
I
oh, you
don't
do?
know the exact season for kathal, but like lately, whenever I go back, whatever time of the year I'm going back to Delhi from Dubai, I tell my parents, "आजकल कटहल आ रहा है क्या? Please कटहल बना दो." And they make it for me, and I love kathal. So I
Uh,
I think there was some kathal that they could find last time when I visited, which was I think I visited in March, and it was there
hmm,
somehow, but I don't know the
hmm,
exact season. If the listeners know,
hmm.
please tell me kathal kab aata hai. I'll plan my trips
Actually,
accordingly.
yeah, no, that's a good question. I should ask my father. There is a kathal tree in our house in Bhopal. So I should know the answer, but I don't.
But you know what? So
Huh.
Kerala, like after I got
Hmm,
married to my Keralite husband. So
hmm,
3 years ago, we made a trip around this time to his
hmm,
ancestral house in
hmm,
Kerala, in Pullur. And
hmm,
so basically, this is my mother-in-law's aunt's house. And they
hmm,
have a huge tamarind tree and they have a huge jackfruit tree. And
hmm,
in Kerala, obviously, jackfruit I think is eaten a certain way, and they
hmm,
eat it as a fruit, as when it's ripe and all that, and it's like they
hmm,
really love it there. But
hmm.
I'm talking of kacha jackfruit when I talk of kathal. Kathal is
अच्छा
jackfruit,
हाँ
but
इट इज जैकफ्रूट या हाँ
but
जो मतलब सब्जी के लिए यूज होता
what I'm saying is that seasons may change depending on the region and the
है
use
या
of kathal. So I'm
राइट
talking of kacha kathal that's made a sabzi into a sabzi.
हम्म
So yeah, I think these were the things that I can think of during summer and monsoon, and it's not that bad. It's not a bad
हाँ
time for
it's actually
eating.
not a bad time
Yeah.
yeah I'm also remembering like Kher Sangri from Rajasthan. So these are like
No idea.
uh अच्छा you don't know but
Nahin.
I what I don't remember is ki what is the actual season. I think the season might be either end of वो मेरे को check करना पड़ेगा but I love Kher Sangri and they are basically like desert growing things and you might find something similar in the Arabian
Can you
peninsula also
describe what it is? Like what
uh,
family?
all this I'm very sketchy on all that but they're like beans
Hmm.
Sangri is a bean
Hmm.
and I think Kher is like a little pod or like a little and
I'm
they make for a very great
I'm googling it
vegetable.
as we speak. Care sang
I'm also
because
I'm also googling it. So they're fruits and pods of two of khejri trees.
yeah, it
So
is. Oh, it's Gaf, and Gaf, is the
it's
national.
gaf.
Gaf
Ha.
is the national tree of UAE.
Oh, see, yeah. So I thought as much. I thought there is like an overlap in the two desert regions.
Wow,
Uh, it's delicious, and it's
really?
just something I love eating kher sangri. So that's the one thing used to like specially request when my parents were in Rajasthan, and it was easily available because it's not typically available everywhere. I But again, because they are like desert foods, and again, scarcity of food is a very important thing.
Hmm.
These two can be dried and kept for a long time.
Acha, okay.
So I think if I hunt and if I do my search here, I might be able to find some. So I'm that's going to be my next mission. I'm going to look for Kher Sangri.
Yeah, I think
But
I
I'm
might
sketchy
find
on
them.
the season. Yeah, I'm sketchy on the season. I'm not so sure about the actual season for the food.
Hmm.
But that's another really great thing that you can cook any time of the year when you don't have fresh
Wow.
vegetables.
Acha, I've never heard of this, and interesting.
Yeah.
I will look into this because Gaf is
Ha.
a very loved and a kind
Hmm.
of tree that they want to really preserve here, and it's like a symbol
Ha.
of this
Ha.
region. So
Ha.
I'll definitely find out if there is a version I find here.
Yeah, so like gatte ki sabzi and kher sangri. I mean, these are two things that you can't go wrong with, and
Hmm.
you can cook them any time of the year that you don't have a reliable source of, a reliable source of vegetables or something
Hmm.
else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so many different things that we found. There are also dal based things like moong ki dal ki pakodi is something that was also
Hmm.
made in my house during summer or monsoon and all that. So yeah, so many different, like you said, so many creative things that have come
Huh.
out of the circumstances of that particular season. And of course, right
Yeah.
now with highly industrialized food systems and everything is available all around the year. But yeah, seasonal eating I think is still very, very relevant to the way we have eaten traditionally, and I think it's nice to follow that. I think it's nice for your health also. I'm not an expert,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
eating according to the food's tasir and what the season is, I think that would really help your body.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I mean, I think there has to be some just eating with the season. I think should is healthier than trying to eat something out of season. And also,
Right.
I mean, and talking about industrialized food production. You're just putting that much more pressure on the whole system to request for something that's not in season.
Right.
So, just if you go with the season, then it's just that much more environmentally friendly as well. I don't know enough about Ayurveda, but Ayurveda kind of does recommend that you eat according to the tasir of
Right.
the food, of the season, your own tasir also, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but I'm actually paying more attention to seasonality, or at least trying to learn what in my environment is seasonal.
Hmm.
Again, because we're stuck in this world where the seasons have pretty much been eliminated because of the way food is produced.
You're right.
Because you
Yeah.
can, yeah, you can just get anything anytime. Like you can get fresh spinach all year round.
Hmm.
Sure, but then that means it's coming from places that are pretty far away, you
And
know.
yeah, there is a certain carbon footprint to that vegetable being flown to you and all that.
Yeah.
It's not only that, like they're also growing certain vegetables using hydroponics, and they're definitely doing that here in the UAE, and they've started this entire movement of these small farms. And the good thing is a lot of them are organic, but
Hmm.
there is a certain growing region, a growing season, sorry, in the UAE and this region. We get good produce, fresh produce during this time, and
Hmm.
that's something I cherish. Going to the local
Hmm.
market here and eating whatever is available there.
Yeah, no, I think that's the one thing that I'm kind of missing out right now is the being able to go to a farmer's market and just kind of pick and smell and look at all the fresh stuff that's coming out of farms. Because
Right.
yes, as you said, again, I'm again in a desert region just like you. So
Hmm.
it is hot and dry most of the year, but the fall, winter, which is when we are recording this, even though we're talking about summer, fall, winter is a good time for fresh vegetables.
Correct. Yes.
And so, yeah, all right.
So I look forward to discussing that in part two. So I think we should
Yes,
wrap up this part. And I think in the next part, stay tuned and just look out for when the next episode comes, where we discuss the post monsoon season, or I don't know if we should call it autumn in the North Indian context. And we are not experts on South India. So that's why we won't talk at length about that. But post monsoon, October onwards season, and obviously the winter season, the much loved gajarela and saag and all that we get during winter season. We will definitely go on about it at length, and you can hear us talk about that, and maybe tell us what you think.
I can't wait to discuss the beautiful sabzis that come in the winter months. And I think I would stick to autumn. Fall is a little too Americanized for me. So
Right,
I
right.
would just, yeah, I would just go back to what I learned in school, so autumn and winter.
Yes, autumn and
And
winter.
yeah, beautiful seasons and short but really intensely packed with flavor. I think fresh
Definitely.
vegetables.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So
See
this
you
was a good
soon. And
conversation.
yeah, this was fun. And if you have anything else to add, if you think we've missed out on something,
We
or
definitely have.
also, Yeah, because we don't know enough. And if we've mischaracterized something, if you know of how to cook something that we've never tried or want us to try,
Yeah.
please tell us. Share it in the comments, write to us. There are multiple ways you can reach us. You can find us on all our socials, and you can find all the links on kitchenpostcards.com.
Right.
So that's
Right.
your one place to find us.
Yes, please write to us and let us know what you think. So we will talk to you next time then, or we will
Yeah.
make you hear our conversation next time then.
Yeah, talk to you soon. The seasons aren't over yet. There's still 2 more blocks to cover.
Yes.
And the calendar hasn't ended. So
Yes.
there's a whole lot of ground to cover.
To be continued.
To be continued.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.